I'm a third year nursing student at Newcastle Uni. I've been on this 2-week trip with the Sangam College. It was really good to go into the classrooms and see the different way of teaching. I think in Newcastle we could learn a lot from the way that students get to collaborate, and I think conversely the way we learn and have a lot of like open-ended questions that really challenge us to problem solve. I think that could be implemented in Fiji a little bit more, just to kind of challenge that extra way of thinking. What else? In the hospitals, it was such a lovely experience to see all of the operating theatres and the different wards. They all function very similar to how it does in Australia. I think the biggest difference I saw was the infection control precautions. The use of hand soap and sanitizer and gloves is very different. We have a lot bigger emphasis on that in our hospitals, and I would be interested to know if there is a bigger instance of infection in Fiji because of that, or if what precautions they use are suitable. Culturally, it's been amazing. I got to go to church on the weekend and see that experience, which is very different to at home. It was lovely to have the barbecue on the beach. That's something we do in Australia, but just a little bit different here, the way it was all set up. It's been a wonderful trip. I've learned a lot. Very grateful to the school for having us.
So hello, I'm Charles Jackson, third year nursing student from Newcastle University. We've been on the New Colombo grant from the Australian government to allow us to come over here and learn about a different healthcare system, as well as having a cultural experience. So personally it's been a really unique experience, and I've learnt a lot and taking a lot of knowledge back with me that I believe that's not only going to make me a better nurse, but a better person in general, especially with the therapeutic care and understanding different backgrounds and culture. But our experience, firstly we flew over from the main island and came to Labasa and met everyone at the Sangam College. At first it was kind of what we were expecting, and what we got was a little bit different, but it's turned out quite an amazing trip. So at first we came into the school, we met all the staff and had an introduction, and then got to spend some time in the lectures, the tutorials, as well as labs. And all in all, the majority of the content is all the same. A little bit tweaked because of the different resources and the availability of what we have in Australia and what is here, and different healthcare needs. Probably the only feedback regarding the lectures, they could be a little bit more interactive, and then same with tutorials, mixing up the different subjects. So a lot of the time it was just the same presentations for everything, where you could introduce other ways of learning. So not just always the same presentation or the same groups doing presentations. And the labs are great. They were really interactive and hands-on, which is always good, especially because this is a hands-on experience. Then we went and had the majority of the weekend we spent doing more of the cultural side of things. We went over to Sabu to start and saw the other side of the island. Then we came back here and enjoyed some of the Indian culture and the ceremonies that were here at the time. And then we finished the weekend off with having an immersion with all the rest of the school at the beach, which is probably one of the best days because we got to see what the locals do and what everyone here does in their spare time. We got to hang out with some of the students, some of the staff, and talk about everything that's happening in Fiji and how Australians can come over and help, and what they got out of this trip as well. Then the second week we spent time in the hospital. We were very lucky that Sister Saraki was amazing and got us pulled all the strings that she could, got us into the hospital, which meant that we were able to see some amazing things. I was privileged enough to watch a natural birth of this lovely little baby girl, which is something that I never would have been able to experience in Australia just because of the different policies that we have, but I was allowed to come and view that here. So that's something I'll take forever and I'll never forget, which is an amazing experience. And it was good to get into the hospitals and see the differences in the resources, how they manage it, how they deal with not having some of the facilities and the resources that we do have in Australia. And then we've pretty much finished up with, yesterday we went around to a few other temples, learned a little bit more about the Indian culture and a bit of the background of Fiji, which was good to have as well. because obviously it's very different here, very different experience. And then that essentially wraps up the 2 weeks we've been here. All in all, that was a great time. It's a bit of an emotional day with this leaving, but it's been fun. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Ruby and I've come to Fiji on the New Colombo plan from University of Newcastle. It has been such a great experience. So we landed in 2 weeks ago to Nandi, and we stayed the night there, came over to Mombasa, and we were immediately greeted by such a welcoming group of people at the Sangam College of Nursing. So yeah, we've spent the week here last week and sat in on tutorials and lectures and labs and got to see all the differences and all the similarities as well. So the style of teaching is quite different and the resources are quite different, but ultimately we learnt all of this last year as well, and it was interesting to see just how connected all the students are and how devoted they are to their learning. So that was really quite interesting and quite different to home. So yeah, we've been very, very lucky to have Madam Saraki show us around, and we've been welcomed by all the staff here and all the students, so that was fantastic. We got to go to temples, which was quite a cultural difference. It's things that we don't usually get back at home. Well, not everyone gets the opportunity to go visit these cultural sites, so we're very, very blessed to be able to go experience that. We got to go to Savu Savu, which is a little town which is kind of coastal, which was amazing, and it's quite the idealistic Fiji experience. So we got to see all of that and go to the water. Yeah, it was fantastic. We had the opportunity, very lucky to have this opportunity last week, to go to the hospital, so Mombasa Hospital, and we got to experience all different wards. We got to go into medical ward, surgical ward, maternity, things like that, and see neonatal cases, everything like that, which is amazing. And on the last day, we were super lucky to be allowed into the theatre. So I witnessed 2 cesarean sections, which was fantastic, and thank you to Madam Saraki for that, because that is not an opportunity that we would have at home just doing nursing. So yeah, we all were really, really, really lucky to experience that. Yeah, we're back at the uni today, the college, and we've just had a farewell with the students and the staff and cut some cakes, and it's been a bit emotional having to say goodbye, but we've really enjoyed our time, and I feel like a lot of us have actually learnt more about the course that we're doing, and seeing the cultural differences and things like that has been very eye-opening. A few of us actually want to follow up with midwifery now, because we never had the chance to see anything maternity related, so now that we have, a few of us have completely gone in one direction, so that's pretty interesting to see. But yeah, all in all, it's been an amazing experience, and we're quite sad to go home, but yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Rory. I'm a second year nursing student from University of Newcastle in Australia. We're here for the New Colombo plan in Fiji for 2 weeks, so we've been really fortunate to spend our time here at Sangam College of Nursing, as well as going into the Mombasa Hospital. Definitely wasn't sure what I was expecting in terms of you know, the education hospital system, but it's been really amazing. I've really appreciated all of the similarities and differences that we have seen in the learning here at Sangam College. There's a few things that I really love that I would really, you know, appreciate if they were implemented back home in our learning, such as like the tutorials for your sort of harder classes, like your human biology, science, that sort of stuff. Whereas we do that online, so it's a little bit less engaging, whereas here I find it a bit more engaging, doing that sort of thing face to face. But overall, like, the students are lovely. We were welcomed with like everything that they had to give, and we are so grateful and appreciative for that. And we've just had a really, really nice experience here. I think if there's one thing I would say, like, the students, we're uni at home, we're not there every day. It's very much like adult sort of your own learning, control your own learning. Whereas here, I think it's very much like almost like a school sort of environment. And if there's one thing that I've noticed, I think the students are a little bit, maybe their maturity is a bit different to ours in that sort of sense, and I'm not sure if that's because of the school-like environment. And I think with a lot of the learning, there are a few things that the students would benefit from, you know, spending less time here and just coming in for what's really necessary sort of thing. But otherwise, we are so grateful for everything that Madam Saraki and Madam Carter have done for us. We have had such a good experience. It's been so good to see, you know, similarities and differences in our learning, and as well as the hospital. That was an amazing experience. We would never ever be able to go in to see what we saw in the hospital. So that was incredible to be able to see that, and we are again so grateful that we were given that opportunity, as well as, you know, our day trips to Sabu Sabu and Korobatu. They were such good experiences. It was so beautiful to see the amazing Fiji environment that we all sort of know about. When you Google Fiji, that's sort of what comes up. So it was really amazing to be able to see that, as well as going into the villages, seeing that really traditional sort of culture that I absolutely love about Fiji. The locals, everyone's just so friendly, and we've just had such a good time here. We would absolutely, all of us are saying we'd love to come back. Yeah, and the lifelong friendships and connections that we've made with students as well as the staff here. We are just so grateful for everything, that all the hard work that everyone here has done to make this such a memorable and incredible experience for us. But yeah, that's probably about it. I've got no complaints. I'm taking away, you know, everything that I've seen, and I'm really going to be so grateful that, yeah, I've had this experience.